The tiny alien maid pleaded with him to bathe her. What he witnessed left him stunned. Ethan Cole had been living alone at the fringe of the mining colony's outpost for nearly 2 years. He appreciated the quiet, the vast emptiness, and the way the desert stars blazed like embers across the endless night sky. Human contact had grown scarce, limited to the occasional supply ship that landed every few months. He believed he preferred it that way until she arrived. She stood no taller than his waist, with delicate silver hair that shimmered faintly, as if catching light from some invisible source. Her skin was pale, faintly luminescent, and her wide violet eyes conveyed both fear and resolve. 3 nights ago, she had appeared at his cabin, ragged and trembling, speaking in a language he didn't understand, but pleading with gestures and gentle tones. Slowly, Ethan pieced together her meaning. She was a fugitive, fleeing from an interstellar trafficking syndicate. He didn't know how she had made it this far, or why she had chosen his isolated refuge, but he understood the desire to escape chains. That alone was reason enough. Over the following days, she diligently tended to his cabin, almost like a self-appointed maid. She swept, arranged his scattered tools, and attempted cooking with alien spices stored in a pouch at her hip. Though awkward in his kitchen, she persisted, and Ethan found himself smiling at her efforts more often than he cared to admit. Yet nothing could have prepared him for her next request. That evening, after the red desert sun had set and a chill crept through the canyons, Ethan was preparing to heat water for his own wash when she padded into the room, her bare feet silent against the metal floor. "Ethan," she said carefully, still grappling with his language. She tugged lightly at his sleeve. "Wash me." Ethan nearly dropped the kettle. "Wash you," he repeated, his voice catching. She nodded, earnest, cheeks flushing a pale pink. "Yes, dust sickness cannot alone." Ethan hesitated, torn between embarrassment and concern. Her species appeared fragile, more delicate than humans, and he had noticed her light coughing after the last dust storm. The fine dust could cling to skin, seeping into pores. Perhaps she truly needs help. "All right," he said finally, voice low. "But only if you're certain." She beamed, her violet eyes glittering like stars. He filled the basin with warm water, steam curling through the dimly lit cabin. She stepped forward, loosening the strange cloth wrapped around her. Ethan looked away, heat rising to his cheeks, but she only laughed softly, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Human shy," she teased, halting but playful. He focused on the task. He dipped a cloth, wrung it, and gently pressed it against her slender shoulder. Her skin was cool and softer than he had imagined, like silk. Beneath her flesh, a faint glow pulsed under his touch, casting a soft lavender light across his fingers. As he carefully removed the desert dust, he noticed her trembling. Not from fear, but some strange internal energy. "You okay?" he asked gently. She nodded, eyes closed. "Feels safe." Ethan continued, brushing her arms, back, and hair. As the dust fell away, something extraordinary appeared. Delicate patterns beneath her skin. Glowing sigils that twisted and shimmered like constellations, spreading from her collarbone down her torso, pulsing in rhythm like a living star map. His breath caught. What in the world? Her eyes opened, meeting his gaze. She whispered, "No slavers, only trust." The weight of her confession hit him. These markings weren't decoration. They were alive, shifting, and powerful. Ethan understood why she had fled, why she was hunted. She wasn't merely a tiny fugitive. She was something far rarer. The air between them thickened. Ethan paused, the cloth dripping water back into the basin. "You trusted me with this?" he asked, wary. "Yes," she whispered, voice trembling. "Ethan, kind. Not hurt me." She pressed a small hand over his chest, above his heart. "You strong here?" His throat tightened. It had been years since anyone had touched him with such pure faith. Before he could respond, a sharp noise shattered the night. The hum of engines descending fast. Ethan's instincts surged. He rushed to the window, seeing the glow of a dropship landing in the canyon. Dust traffickers, they had tracked her. Her glow flickered faintly with fear. "They come," she whispered. Ethan clenched his fists. "Not while I'm here." The next moments were chaos. He shoved supplies into a pack, motioned for her to follow, and guided her through the narrow back tunnel carved into the stone behind his cabin. The pounding of boots echoed as the traffickers forced open the front door, shouting in a harsh alien tongue. Through winding rock paths, they escaped into the open desert night. Stars glittered above, mirroring the faintly glowing constellations beneath her skin. She stumbled from exhaustion, but Ethan caught her, lifting her into his arms. "Hold on," he gritted, sprinting across the sand. Behind them, shouts and weapons fired, energy bolts scorching the ground. But the desert was wide, and Ethan knew its terrain better than any hunter. He guided her through narrow ravines, across dried riverbeds, finally reaching the hidden cave where his old mining crawler was stored. As the dropship scoured the skies, he powered the crawler to life, engines rumbling deep. She clung to him, her glowing markings illuminating the cabin in soft hues. The crawler rumbled steadily across the dunes, each mile carrying them farther from the trafficker ship's lights. Ethan kept one hand on the controls, the other holding hers. Her glowing constellations pulsed softly, as if guiding their escape. For a long while neither spoke. The desert stretched infinite and silent, only the stars above keeping watch. Finally, she leaned against his shoulder, voice a whisper. "They never stop. Always hunt." Ethan tightened his grip. "Then we make sure they can't find you. I know hidden routes, places even their scanners can't reach." He glanced at her glowing skin, starlit maps shifting gently. "And maybe your markings are more than a secret. Perhaps they're the key to something bigger." Her eyes widened, hope flickering amid fear. "You not afraid?" He smiled, fatigue heavy. "Afraid? But I'd be a fool to let fear drive me from someone who trusted me with everything." Her tiny hand pressed again over his heart, warmth from her glow seeping into him. With her, Ethan exhaled slowly, the weight of loneliness he had carried for years finally lifting. He looked out across the endless desert, horizon silvered by rising moons. He settled, saying, "No more running. From now on, we fight together." Above, the constellations mirrored the living stars beneath her skin. Whatever destiny awaited, Ethan knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of something far greater.